Hello and welcome. Do you need any help today with your planning or booking of an ultidimensional trip or vacation? You do? Well, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Matt, and I'll be your ultidimensional advisor today. Have you traveled to an alternate reality before? This is your first time. Well, I'm honored that you would choose Ultidimensional as your first travel agency for your first trip. Since you haven't traveled to an alternate reality before, you may not be aware of just how many options are available to you. So, please, for your benefit, as well as to give you some ideas, allow me to run you through a small presentation. This will be on my computer, and it will help you understand the concept of ultidimensional travel and living. Okay, you're happy to do that. Brilliant. So, looking into the monitor, you can see that we have what we call an every road diagram. A silhouetted man stood by two thick black roads, completely unaware that there are surrounding him hundreds of equally thick, transparent roads that they could also walk. It's an interesting image, but what does this mean? What is its purpose? And how does it accurately describe our services? Well, for most people, not all, but most people, when they see their lives and they see their wants, they see only two roads. They see a road that leads them to the life that they want, and they see a life to the road that they have. One is risky, one is safe. Most people can only see those two roads to travel on, either going left or right, for example. They think that's their only choice. But with ultidimensional travel, you don't just have those two roads, but instead you have hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds, and so on, infinite amounts in fact. We here at Ultidimensional provide you with the ability to see those hidden roads, and to provide you with choices. Choices not just of what roads are available, but where those roads can also lead, which I think is the most important. If you can imagine that every reality, like a road, has a number. So we here in the UK call our main road the M1, don't we? And a lot of our conversations around where to navigate in this country involve using roads like the M1 as reference tools. Go off the M1 and get onto the M1. This helps us understand one another and also understands our place. Our reality, this reality, is known as A53, followed by certain conditional serial numbers. Within multiverse theory, which is what a lot of our technology is based on, for every action we take, there are two or more possible results that we didn't take. For example, as boring as it sounds, if you were at a restaurant and you ordered a Diet Coke, within multiverse theory there is a reality where you chose the Diet Coke, there's also another where you chose full fat, another where you chose Fanta, and another reality where you just sat there and didn't have a drink at all. That's just for one action. Within every moment of every day, we make hundreds of actions and decisions, and each one of those branches out into an infinite amount of realities where you chose different and opposite actions. Those serial numbers categorize which actions were taken, so that we can correctly transport our travelers / our customers to the reality where the choices made are the choices that our customer wants to make. Does that make sense so far? Good, I'm glad you're still following. So, just got a couple more things to go through before we can move on to your service. Just a few disclaimers in the form of answers to popular questions that we get, as well as a few warnings. This won't take long, I promise. I do this before we start so that if there were any issues that might prevent you from having your travel, I wouldn't want you to go through the whole process and then be told at the end that you are ineligible to travel, or that one element of our service is the deal breaker for you, that kind of thing. So, let's get started with those then. One of our most popular questions about ultidimensional travel is whether or not it's permanent or temporary. That is an option for you to decide. If you want to be temporary, that's fine. If you want to do permanent, that's also fine. If you decide that partway through living through your new reality that you are unhappy and would like to return, there is an option for a temporary stay. This would allow you to return to your original reality and pick up where you've left off. Another popular question is how this works. How is the travel possible? This is the best way that I can describe it. In most realities, there is a version of you. We can't always guarantee that there will be. Chaos theory dictates that there will be realities where you either already died before travelling, or that you never existed. What we do from the reality that you already occupy, for example A53 plus serial numbers, is that we can lock onto that version of you like locking onto a satellite. Once that connection is stable, and this becomes the exciting part, your consciousness, your mind, is blasted through the signal into the mind or consciousness of that other you. As a result, you take over that version of you like possession. Now, a few people have asked if that's ethically right, and our response to that is that within the existence of the multiverse, infinite possibilities exist. There exists a reality where you transferred yourself into the mind that you wanted to, and you lived out that life exactly as you planned to. But there is also a reality where you decided that you did not want to do that, and that version of yourself gets to live out their life as intended. So there were infinite amounts of you that did or did not make that decision. So you shouldn't have to feel guilty about that decision. There will always be a reality where you didn't do that thing, so don't feel guilty. Another question is, what happens to your body in this reality, your reality, whilst you're away, permanent or not? The body that you won't be using can be stored within one of our associated facilities, and that option will be included within your total. The charges for this service are based on how long you intend to stay within another reality. If you choose for it to be temporary, then the charge will be based on how long your stay is. If you've chosen a permanent stay, then it would be a singular, smaller charge. It would be further discounted if it was permanent if you were to take part in a local organ donor program, as your body would be dissected and your organs donated for good causes. When travelling permanently, it is important to consider the time and place within history that you would be travelling to. You could travel to a reality where you are younger, born a little later, or earlier than this version of you, or born within a time period completely unrelated to your current time frame. That could be a few centuries here or there as a buffer. When doing this in a permanent way, remember that you'll be blocked off or locked out of returning to your original reality. This is unless you live in a time where this technology already exists or will soon exist. If it does exist, then you can simply do what you are doing now with them and return if you're unhappy. But if that technology doesn't or won't exist for a couple of more decades or centuries even, then it will be unfortunate for you, but that will be out of our hands. We can't extract you then. Think of it as a one-way door. Additionally, please keep in mind that if you have a criminal record, we may have to inform that reality of your crimes. We may also, depending on the severity of your crime, refuse your travel request. This is done if the crime is categorized as something dangerous to the public, or something that you might repeat again. Some have tried to go through to another reality to repeat certain crimes, believing that because they have escaped that reality, their current reality, that their record will have disappeared as well. This will allow them to commit the crime again without having that stigma from their original crime. This is something very early on agencies like Ultimensional wanted to stamp out. I know that arguments have been made that this technology would allow criminals to have a fresh start, something that they may not deserve, but it is our official response to that line of thinking that we can refuse your travel request, or inform the reality that you are travelling to or wish to travel to of your crimes. One moment, I need to take a drink. Continuing on, if you were wishing to join another family member that has travelled to another reality, you need to have access to their most recent serial key, as we will be unable to provide you with that information due to data protection. Ensure that the code is 100% accurate, as a single digit mistake within the serial key could result in you being transferred to a completely separate reality, where everything is the exact same except for one element, and that one element could be your family member's transportation to their reality, or it could have been the choice of drink that they made that day. You could spend an entire lifetime looking for that one change, which you can imagine can be frustrating. Additionally, people can request a cons file, this is CONS file, from us. This would benefit family members that were unsure of the conditions set by the original traveller as to their wishes. Wishes that could be relating to what should be done with their body, or whether they would or wouldn't want to be disturbed within their ideal or chosen reality. You could today, if you had a family member in another reality that you wish to visit, make such a request for a file. Okay, brilliant. That's all of the boring stuff out of the way. Now for the service. As you're probably realizing by now, your travel options are limitless. All it requires is a strong idea of where you want to travel to, based on actions you wish you would have taken, as well as money to pay for the service, obviously. So, with that being said, let us move on to your service. Do you have an idea of where you would like to go? Where you would like to end up? Who you would like to be with? Not to put you in a weird position or anything, but a lot of customers come into agencies like Ultimensional with a strong list or ideas of the actions that they would like to redo or review, or set ideals or conditions for their travel. Is this something that you would like to go ahead and have time on? Would you like to book another session later in the week or in the month once you've had a think about it? You already have an idea? Okay. You seem very sure, so I believe you. Okay, so you say it's more about who you want to be around rather than any change about your life or self. That's understandable. Company is important. Alright then, allow me to take a note of that for my tablet. Give me a second. Right, brilliant, notes made. So, now's the time to describe your life to me. We need to get a understanding of the roads that you've taken and what we need to alter within our rift tunnel to ensure that we locate the right reality and the right you. So, what's your story? Who do you want to be around again, and what happened? As we do this, I'm going to be typing out, so carrying your story, I'm just going to be making notes. I may repeat back to you what you said, just as clarification. Please interrupt if I get a detail wrong. Okay, so you are alone in this reality, no friends or family to speak of. You feel cheated, that you have been unfairly treated by the things that you weren't able to control. You feel that this has contributed to your lack of success in life, having actions and choices taken away from you. Now, why would that be? What actions led to this feeling of being cheated? You were left as a child without a family. Okay. Your father left your mother after you were injured by your father's neglect. An injury that you carry with you to this day. An injury that is said to have driven him away by guilt and shame. You were denied a family because your mother struggled to take care of you because of your injuries and has never lived for herself, becoming a shadow of herself. someone who would work and then come home for you and repeat that cycle. Your childhood's passed you by and you've never experienced life until adulthood, and you feel disadvantaged and cheated. As you grew, you saw your mother decay from illness and pass away. You sought out your father after her passing to find out that they had killed themselves after remarrying and neglecting that family as well. So with no family or relatives, you feel alone. You feel that with certain actions, you could be given a correct childhood, a right childhood. With the right arrangement or rearrangement of events, you might be allowed to experience a normal upbringing. Okay, that can be done. In order to provide you with a reality that will correct your past, we will need to program into our searches those specific conditions, and then locate the you within realities matching those conditions. Does that sound okay with you? Alright then, so what changes or conditions would you like to make / need to make in order for your normal upbringing experience to occur? Okay, so you want the accident that left you with those injuries as a child to disappear. That would result in your father never leaving. Okay. How did the accident happen? You wandered into a kitchen as a child and poured a boiling kettle onto yourself, severely burning your body completely. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, please continue. You would like the relationship between your parents to be stronger. By your mother's accounts, your father was not emotionally open. Okay, I will search out a reality with a more emotionally open father and mother. There will be a small percentage while searching through realities where there'll be a disconnection. As these are minor details within a complete reality, if that does happen, it will be a fault of our system and we will reconnect it for free. There won't be an additional charge for a second or third search for these conditions, however difficult or long the process is. But I thought I'd mention that now. You would like to be a child when you are transferred into a version of you. Okay. I'm glad you said that, as I need to point out that ages below 15 struggle to retain the information of the life within this reality. In a way, I guess not knowing would also be okay, as you would just live out your life as you think it is, and that would be a comfort, I imagine. You also agree? Alright, brilliant. You also want a condition that within your lifetime this technology would exist. I can program that in as well. Anything else? Of course, we can make this a permanent stay. When this is finished, would you like to donate your body for good causes? You do? Thank you. That is appreciated. Okay, so here are some information packs that I need for you to read. These packs discuss all of the things that you will need to do or are advised to do when making permanent reality travels. Things such as debts and finances, declaring to the correct authorities that you are traveling instead of, going missing, as well as how to discuss that kind of travel with your family. Okay, so what is going to happen now is that we are going to program in, based on the provided information today, all of the conditions into what is known as a Rift Tunnel Reality Locator, or RTOL. This process will take between 5 to 10 working days, sometimes longer, and we will contact you once it's completed. We will then negotiate a departure date, and also provide you with any additional information that you may need. This can be things such as reality-specific world events, leader changes, culture changes, things like that. So, I'm going to disappear for a moment, and today we're going to go through the payment structure for this service and help ensure that everything is perfect for you before we begin with the search. Would you like me to fetch you a drink at all? Maybe some water? Okay. Alright. Well, I'll be right back. I'll just be a moment. I need to go over there and fetch something, okay? Be right back.